Welcome to the channel. This is my review slash opinion of the new movie Alien Romulus. I just got back from the theater, so I thought I would share. All right. So, um, brief synopsis of the movie. There's some young people stuck on a planet in indebted servitude, basically slavery almost. They can get off the planet by working a certain amount of hours, but the evil business, which is Wayland Yutani. Yes, the same Wayland Yutani that is the evil in all of the other movies. They keep changing the amount of time people have to work. So the young people decide that they've discovered there's a ship, or they think there's a ship above the planet. They've got some picked up its signal, whatever, and they think that if they get up to that ship and find out if it has cryopods, if they steal the pods, then they can escape to this planet where there's sunshine. The planet they're on has no sunshine, so they're very much into standing there with their face absorbing the sun. So yeah, that's what they want to do, and so they're going to go up to the ship and try to steal the stasis pods, and then escape from their basically slavery. So that's what they're trying to do, of course, because it's an alien picture. The ship, we find out it's actually a research station, but what they think is the ship is chock a block full of aliens, and they go up and they have to try to survive. Somebody said about an alien movie, it's like you need a group of people to do incredibly stupid things and then they all die. Well, that's pretty much par for the course in this movie as well. I'm a little, torn on this one because I hoped it was going to be good, and disappointed is maybe my main feeling. A little disappointed in some of the stuff they did. Um, Nothing really major. The cast is fine doing it. There's a couple of standouts. The main character, Rain, and her brother are good, and there's a relationship between them, even though the brother is basically a synthetic that her father found in a junkyard and rescued, and she treats him as a brother. His mental capacity, because he's damaged, is somewhat lower, but he uh, is a good character. So the actor playing him does quite well, because he plays Andy, I think his name is, as sort of this bit slow person until he gets on to the space station, and then he gets an upload or an upgrade while on the station, and then totally changes into more corporate robot. So he does a good job with that. Most of the other cast you don't really care about. They don't live long enough for you to care about them. You don't. They have some of them. There's one girl that's pregnant. You still don't care too much about her. Some of the other ones are just assholes. So you're like, yeah, okay, you're gonna die, and I don't care. But the actors were not given much to work with, so they're fine because you don't care about them. So maybe that's a skill in doing just that. As I said, Rain and Andy are good in what they do. So building the relationship between the two of them and not being incredibly stupid. So that works. So yeah, the time frame for this movie is between Alien 1 and Aliens. So the original and Aliens. And it looks good. So they did a really good job of all the sets. So inside the ship, inside the space station, is straight out of the first two movies, mainly the first movie. So the terminal screens look good. The walls in the corridors, the spacecraft, the planet that they're originally on and working. All of it looks really good. So I'll give them kudos for that. The creatures, the face huggers, and the aliens look good. I believe they used a lot of animatronics for that instead of going with CGI, and I think that was a smart move. It works well. Um, yeah, so in general, I liked the movie. A little disappointed in it because the director is Fede Alvarez, and he's known for being a horror guy. The movies that he does are he's done some horror movies, he's done some really intense other movies, and I thought he might be doing this and maybe returning this to more Alien 1, um, but he doesn't. There's some, again, sort of the same horror as other ones where you get the face huggers jumping out and seeing the aliens, but it doesn't seem to have the same impact as it once was. Maybe there's been too many alien movies. But even the last few alien movies haven't had the face huggers in them because and even the aliens are a bit different, but I still just did not find them as um, scary, compelling, whatever, as before. So, out of five, it's maybe a three. Out of 10, seven. I think you'd enjoy it. I think it's a decent movie, but it's not as good as it could have been. And again, I'm a little disappointed that Fetty didn't do a better thing, um, better job of it. More horror, or more action, one or the other. They did neither, so they kind of go up the middle, and it's not as good as it could be. So, yeah, and like I said, the acting's fine. Uh, it looks really good, sounds really good. Some, jump scares, but there was only one that really caught me, and that was near the end, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. The rest of them were kind of, you know, um, standard fare. I mean, and again, the cast has to do stupid stuff to get some stuff to work. So, they're in one area, and I don't know if you've seen the trailers, but there's an area where they go in and there's water, and there's one guy's, hey, there's something in the water. And it's like, okay. So then why are you going and looking for it? I mean, Jesus, you think maybe you might be a little more concerned, but no. And of course, the face huggers jump out. The stupid part or funny part about it though is there's this one guy that he's probably the least liked character in the picture, and so he's got like a long baseball bat length cattle prod that he picks up, and he's swatting the face huggers out of the air when they're coming at him. He's like whack, whack, whack. Yeah, it's it's kind of stupid. But anyways, of course, one of the crew gets infected. So there's a scene where they find they go up to the like I said, I think they go up to the space station slash spaceship to grab the stasis pods. They get up there, they find the stasis pods, but they don't have enough fuel to last the whole 9 years. Only three, so they have to find some fuel for it, and that forces them to go farther into the station, which is where they encounter the aliens. They get into a room and they suddenly bring the temperature up. I don't know how, but they do. And then all these shrink wrapped face huggers suddenly burst out of their packages and start coming after them. And that is well done in the section where they're trying to run away, and like this, you know, 3 or 4 dozen face huggers come zipping around and jumping all over, and that's kind of intense. But yeah, somebody, of course, gets a face hugger, and Andy, who's gone under the upgrade, is much smarter, but he doesn't know how to save the person. So there's a lot of things in this that are you'll see, and they'll remind you of the other movies because they've been taken right out of them. And this is the biggest one. They take the synthetic person from the first Aliens who tried to kill Ripley, uh, because he's like a standard model. He's on the space station. He's heavily damaged, but they fire him up, and he is lying to them the whole time. Um, but he tells them a bit more, and anyways, they figure out a way to get the face hugger off this woman without killing her, and they do. And then the question is, well, did it lay the egg or not? Now they don't know about the egg. Andy says, I don't know if it's finished what it was trying to do before you got him off. And it's like, well, of course we know that they've laid an egg in her. Now the gestation period seems to be a lot quicker than I remember from the other movies, but again, they write the script. They have things in the script that come because they have to. But she has a thing burst through her chest, and that kind of horror is uh, well done. There's kind of a cool thing where she has this X-ray device and holds it behind her, and you can see the little creature trying to burst through her chest. So that's a bit intense. But she's the pilot of their shuttle that they've taken, and why nobody knows that they've taken it, or again, like why no one knows about this space station just above the planet. It is on a timer because the space station is going to crash into the rings. It's like Saturn; it's got rings, so they do have a timer on getting the stuff and getting out of there. Which again, is kind of, you always have to have that kind of thing. But yeah, so the alien creature bursts out and he gets really big really fast. Again, I think that is, they've altered the timeline of how fast that stuff happens just so that they can move the movie along. Because in the original Aliens, like the guy who got infected the first time, it was hours before the creature was able to burst through his chest. In this show, it's like minutes. And then the alien getting from small to big and dangerous, again, in the first movie, took some time. Here, it's very, very quickly. Um, One guy, the guy that you sort of, the most annoying guy dies sort of a horrible death, so it's kind of well done. Interesting, I guess. Well done. It is kind of scary in that aspect, but uh, during all this, they try to take off with their little craft, and all they do is crash into the space station, conveniently landing in an airlock. So the other team members who are stuck on the station can try to get across the station to this airlock. Of course, that's got to happen because of all the, you got the aliens and the facehuggers that have to come after them. So you got to make them walk through the station. If they could have just got back on and left, that wouldn't have been much fun. So, yeah. So again, it's very, very. The story sometimes changes the backstory or the history of the creatures and such, just to work within the framework of what they're trying to accomplish. Um, but there's some good parts there. Definitely, like I said, looks really, really good. They maintain the look throughout. You can see here on the screen the scenery of, I don't think this is the main character, but she's kind of trying to get back into safety on their ship, and everything is perfectly out of the original Aliens. It starts off really, really well because, or not well, but it gives the backstory. So it starts off with, they show a sort of a spacecraft going along, and then suddenly everything's waking up, and then you see proximity alert and whatever, and then they turn on the external lights, and it's floating through a debris field, and you kind of see on one of the plates Nostromo. So that's the ship that Ripley blew up in the first one. But then they find, like, it looks like an asteroid, and they take it on the ship, goes back with them. You see them slicing open the asteroid and taking something away. Of course, it's the alien, and there's all these people, and that must have been on the space station. But that's how they tied it to the first movie. Um, so probably Ripley is still drifting in the rescue craft. I don't know necessarily how they would find the Nostromo. I guess they did give positioning data to it, but I thought that was kind of neat how they tied it into it. And the uh, the other thing is this alien that is in the rock. I don't know how it suddenly got encased in a rock either. Makes no sense, but happens to be the one that Ripley got rid of because it actually has her harpoon stuck in it, which I thought was kind of a neat fallback to the original movie. But anyways, um, so it's not a bad movie. If you liked any of the aliens, you like this because it's very much within the universe. Again, the writing can be a bit weak at sometimes. It's not as intense as the first Aliens and not as action pack as the first Alien movie, the movie called Alien. It's not as much action as in Aliens. There is some, so everything's a little bit short of it. They do fire up a pulse rifle, which I think is so cool. I just love that the pulse rifles that they used in Aliens, the Colonial Marines. They even say that there's something that Colonial Marines use, although they don't look like the ones used in Aliens, and they have this auto lock targeting lock on, which is I don't know why they had to put that in because the Colonial Marines don't have that feature on theirs, so it must have been a not successful feature that was eliminated from either cost or not working well. But anyways, uh, yeah, I find it's a good movie, good time waster. Not as good as it could have been, I guess, because I did expect more from the director. So I'll just play the trailer here. So Fede Alvarez is a guy that's known for his horror stuff, and I would have thought he would have done better. Don't Breathe was kind of a Evil Dead, of course, that's the horror ones, and Don't Breathe was he was dealing with a serial killer. But you can see here, just by the looks around, that everything fits into the universe. Um, these are the cryopods and all the blood. And this is a really good scene where all the aliens are coming and chasing them. Um, that's the woman that gets affected. This is Andy, the brother. There's a really good scene where they're trying to get down a hallway, and Ripley has Rain. There's a pulse rifle, kills a bunch of the aliens, and of course their toxic or acid blood is floating around because they've shut off the gravity to have a better job of dealing with them, and just trying to get through all the blood is kind of well done. But yeah, I think it's worthwhile watching. I think it's enjoyable enough. I just am a little disappointed. I thought it would have been better than it was. Okay, thanks.